Is it actually 16 hours to pass through these hexes? Because
it's 8 hours traveling through one of the hexes, then you pass through 2 of them.
I'm not actually sure like an intelligent group would stay walking for 16 hours. That's why I bring that up. We'd be force marching ourselves. I don't think we would do that.
Yeah, that's of course fine. I just assumed that you were pressing on as quickly as you could, but
I mean, then we would have to like make like forced march like rolls and everything. I mean, it's the groups don't
The main problem is like these tunnels. First of all, you haven't level travel through them, so it goes slowly, and then they're not clear really.
I mean, I'm gonna pitch this with like how I envisioned this would tend to be like a standard sort of like adventuring fare would be 12 hours of activity where we're like packing or just like stopping to rest to eat and whatever, and then there's 12 hours of us just being down because we want to have someone, at least one person who's keeping watch during that time. But that same person also needs to get adequate rest.
Keeping watch really isn't a problem for us anymore, though.
Yes, it is. If there's just exactly 8 hours of downtime, then yes, it is.
Actually, no. You would notice Rain is not going to sleep.
It still is a problem. I don't give a fuck whether Rae'nkalar's going to sleep or not. I don't trust him.
Alauneari trusts him enough not to let him take her watch any day.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable traveling 16 hours force merging even the weaklings with a negative constitution.
We could make like fashion some sort of carrying things. The humans could carry Alauneari all the way, like
a share.
Yeah,
palanquin. Like, it used to be just a lizard, but, that's how I always, that's how I envisioned it, the 12 out, 12 down. I might have a construed approach, but that's, muscles only work for so long here.
That is certainly true.
Well, as it were, I don't think we should go north. I think we should continue on the path to find our way back to Bothas.
Yeah. All right. Then you rest here, and then you continue on the next day.
Good. I'm feeling a lot better now that I don't have one channel attempt left. A little stunned.
You're stunned? She just Evil Knievel'd this shit, man.
So yeah, the party presses on to the next day, and in a couple of hours, they come upon a crossing, and judging from their maps, they think, well, you would think that the Great Jumping Off Point is north of you.
And there's no cave-ins in sight.
Not that you see, no.
Well, the problem is the hexes are
invisible cave-ins.
So let's go up north to the Great Jumping Off Point, right?
Yeah, make sure it's actually
we can go ahead and check to confirm, sure.
Alright. Then you move up here and basically rest halfway through this area.
Okay.
But yeah, you make your way back to the Great Jumping Off Point. You do not run into any more cave-ins. You do occasionally hear the sort of tremor from the far direction of the earth wound. But yeah, there is no more cave-ins or earthquakes, and you make it safely back to the earth wound, where you can, once again make camp and rest.
So just to refresh now, we know that the path where merchants usually come is caved in, and now the path to Bothas is also caved in, or path to Teresia. So we're not going to talk to anybody from there, because how the hell would they get here?
They still might go through. Who knows? We haven't explored all these other, passages breaking off of here.
No, I thought
there might be another route to a Drow city.
Might be something we should go and do now. I don't know how many days we have left.
We've still got, even assuming that we spent a lot of time in Bothas to handle ruling, and assuming we've got at least a month and a half, if not 2 months.
I think you have roughly spent 11 to 12 days down here so far.
All right, we have plenty of time then.
Yeah. Then add a few weeks for
I think you're on 12 days.
Yeah. Yeah, even assuming we languished up in fucking Vathis to make sure we ruled for like 2-3 weeks, we still got 2 months.
So, so where do we want to go now?
I assume we want to avoid the path of walking madness because that doesn't sound fun. So we have 3 other options, I guess.
I would be okay with pursuing all of these other like branching points off of say this way, just to make sure like if they're like caved in, if there's any other threats we need to know that are down there.
Because now we basically can consider that this one, if we can clean off this area, then like monsters won't be coming from here most likely.
No.
And if we know this one is safe and this one is safe, the chance of them running all the way up here, I mean, that's not that great. We can sort of consider that to be a little bit of a safe area.
They wouldn't even like really go up this one either, because that's like 35 feet up in the air.
Yeah. And generally, I don't think there are too many creatures that wander about in that magma hell. I think they're just sort of part of it.
It's really a case of if we can explore these kind of paths, so yeah.
So I suppose we can take the nearby one first.
Or if you want to try to be most efficient with the time, we can go up to Horace Crossing and then go down that one, and then come back up maybe, and then go down to the Great Jumping Off Point. And
yeah, we could go to that one. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go up there and go down there, up and down.
Up and down.
Old Yo Nasty decided to. I'll notice that Rae'nkalar's not sleeping. I'll assume that something's wrong with Rae'nkalar and continue about the business of keeping my eye out on things. Maybe he's humiliated after that slug put him down, you know? Like a bitch. I say, you know, after all the hit points of damage, yeah. Fucking pussy. No wonder why we can't make an army. Yeah.
Let me get Zyn to train some slugs and get you to do
Yes, war slugs. That's the way to go.
Handle vermin, the new skill, most useful.
Jonas, we've decided, it seems, that we're going to go up to Horace Crossing and then go down that path that led south.
Okay.
It's going to be like just one tip into the next hex.
Let's see. So that's basically 1 day of traveling up here to the crossing.
Rilinid's not okay with returning to this crossing, actually.
You know, getting close, he can feel it again. It's like
keeps rubbing his neck through the funeral shroud.
Yep. But yeah, you take a day up here, so that means you're on 13 days.
No.
Just gotta, let's see here. Do.
Jonas just has like a little timer that he's counting down in the background as days pass. And then
yeah, shaking my head like, oh no.
And then at 57 days, that's when the Zvirfneblin army arrives.
Yep.
If this was a TV series, there'd be that watch that keeps clicking randomly appearing.
This is like 24, you know. It's like
24.
Jack Bauer's torturing someone over there, and
like counting down like 16
fucking Kiefer
years.
Sutherland just busts out of the wall.
Yep. I'm gonna torture you now.
Apparently, we're all part of a plot to overthrow the United States government. We didn't even know.
The president is poisoned.
Oh, certainly there's other people trained in poison use. Why are you going after us?
Talon. He didn't want to blame us.
There's a massive bounty on Tarlin's head from the United States government. I'd buy it. I'd fucking sell him to the U.S. in a heartbeat.
The U.S., but how do we know he won't be tortured?
Focus.
Yeah. Let's go.
You head south then through this area. All right. Well, you travel south. Give me perception checks.
We can.
Let us perceive, shall we?
No, not rest, you dumb fucker. And go.
God damn it!
Most the front already by now.
I can't even make a 34. I can make a 33.
I'll just go and brush off the shoulders here.
Oh, I have a list of all the things I perceive.
You see, I'm so useless in non-combat. I gotta have something going for me, man.
Yes, you see. Oh no, you don't.
Oh well, how sad for you. Yeah, you press on down here. Let's see here. That's very good perception checks. All right. Well, both Rae'nkalar and Rilinid do notice that when you go down this route, that it seems to be mostly like a natural tunnel formation. Although at places it seemed like some slight work has been done. Like not really like engineering per se, but it is as if someone has like cleared away rubble and stuff, and like done some things to sort of hold up the roof. You see some like cross beams and stuff in places to sort of keep the tunnel roof up as you travel down here.
Any evidence of pickaxes, shovels?
Yes, there are littering about from time to time, like a broken pickaxe or like a dented shovel, things like that.
Okay, probably a former mining shaft, then. Possibly by dwarves.
Yeah, the dwarves are in the area. Makes sense.
You do also notice, a few hours into the travel, there's a little path leading off from the main path heading south. Seems again to be very narrow, similar to the one that took you from the land of fire and mud. So you would definitely need to squeeze if you're going to go through that one.
Throw it out as a suggestion, though. We could, if we so chose.
I would say we head down the main passage first.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'd say follow the main.
Like looking on the map that we got from the cloakers, it either they didn't go as far or it just ends, so we might as well find out what's at the end.
Manaki, Tina?
Yeah.
Do you have any input?
I didn't listen, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Manaki?
I'm in a similar situation.
Then we
Stop talking to each other and focus on the game.
We continue to progress then, Jonas.
The males in the party will make the decisions this time.
Yeah, that's
This is serious business. Come on.
We've been empowered. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think Trislin and Alauneari want to explore the side passage on their own.
Absolutely.
okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We need a second hour?
Okay. Fucking crossroads.
Down the dark loves them.
As you move down here, you do notice once again a crossroad. Tunnel heads down the south and heads west. To your minds, being perceptive as you are, you do notice that the southern one seems to be natural, while the western one seems to be manufactured.
Okay. I'd like
Not-
to...
Not entirely, but it is as if there was like a thin passageway here, but someone has sort of hacked it out, made it wider.
Would there be any way to determine whether it was mined by drow or mined by dwarves or
Perhaps
whoever?
you could. Do you have profession stonemason?
Why, yes. No, I don't.
Or perhaps you could go with an engineering role.
Oh!
Well, clearly the leftover tools have some kind of
You want to appraise the tools?
markings or something.
You could certainly take a close look at one of the tools. Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm no help here.
Let's perceive one of the tools.
All right. You study one of the tools. Well, it is certainly very.
Tooly?
Very, very tooly, yeah. It is made of a handle of wood. No, yeah, it seems on the sort of pickaxe head. It's kind of broken and not really useful, but you do see a small symbol on there. You're not really sure what it signifies, though.
That's something. Would any of the other party members perhaps be able to identify such a thing?
Yes, perhaps.
Rilinid will humor Zyn. This is cute. Here's Zyn coming up, showing his own initiative with his natural paranoia. Like, oh my goodness, I saw a symbol. This is most ominous. What does this mean, Rilinid?
Most ominous.
Alauneari nods 300 times.
Fucking Rilinid has heard this shit like every single day, along with all of the poking at the boulders.
It's most ominous. I don't trust any of this. Rilinid can make a knowledge local check. Or perhaps a knowledge history if he has that.
Well, we'll go with knowledge history. I do, in fact, have a knowledge history. And, let's see here. We'll use some lore master on that, Jonas.
Yes, Rilinid being the lore master, he remembers this symbol. It is actually the symbol of the Saraketh Mining Company. A very, according to what he remembers, a very prosperous mining company once upon a time, operating out of Dammerhall. They specialized in rare materials such as mithril and adamantine.
Rilinid, his natural sort of weariness of Zyn will look at the symbol, and then he'll actually sort of lower the funeral shroud so that he can lift the stone mask and say, "Ah, you've actually found something interesting, Zyn, for a change."
Yes, and for once, it doesn't want to kill us, so that's something.
So you think. I actually think if such a group existed today, it would very much like to kill us.
How old do these tunnels and tools look?
Hard to determine. The tools they look very old.
Really, I could easily provide. This is a symbol of the Zaraketh Mining Consortium, one of the most venerable and aged groups in all of the dwarven civilization of Dammerhall, specializing in mithril and adamantium. These tools are at least several hundred years old. Judging by the Battle of Horas Crossing, it has been quite some time since dwarves were of any power or significance here. This symbol would therefore suggest that these buttressed tunnels, Rilinid pointing up, would be of their make. I imagine they were prospecting for valuables. They might have found something, but they probably took that with them.
There might be something of value still left behind.
There might be, yes. But dwarves are rather skilled at ferreting out the precious metals, what with their bulbous noses and their natural greed.
Well, of course, it's possible that they never had a chance to finish.
It might be, yes. It is difficult to discern when the Battle of Horas Crossing took place, Rilinid rubs his neck, as well as when exactly these dwarves might have left these tools.
Zyn shrugs and quickly loses interest in history lessons.
Larry will look at things and say, but if they left tools here, and they do not seem to be left because they were useless, or they were not abandoned as such, they were most likely, they didn't want to leave them here. This means that they must have had some interest in doing work on these tunnels, which means that they must lead to something valuable.
And dwarves are rather notorious for cleaning up after themselves. They would not litter unless they were harried by something. There might indeed be something of value down that tunnel.
She'll nod and sort of a giggle into her eye and says, well, I think we should continue then.
Right. We're going to head off the branching manufactured path then, Jonas.
Okie doke. You head off west.
We're gonna find Dammerhall just sitting there.
Here it is.
Dammerhall's reading a book. Hello.
Well, over here is my good friend Santa Claus and his bookshelf. And the blue horse is coming on tea later. Yeah. All right, you press down the western tunnel here. The sort of mix and match between natural tunnel and excavated tunnel. They intersect with each other as you walk down here. Yes. You go on for several hours. Basically, when you sort of come up against the time where you usually rest, you also actually see in front of you the tunnel suddenly terminating. Doesn't seem to be a cave in or anything. It just stops. They basically probably didn't dig any further than this. You do notice that the area where it terminates is sort of a dug out, like cave-like. It's like a round dome almost, and there is some like slight tracks of activity being here a long time ago. You see like a little bit of ash and like a broken tool in a corner, things like that.
Is there any script left on the walls or ceiling to suggest a prior passage?
Well, you can sort of look. Give me a perception check.
I suppose. Let me turn off the air conditioner. Am I allowed to take a 10 since I'm not being threatened at this moment in time?
Sure.
Fantastic. How about 28?
Yes. Rilinid pours over the walls, and
Like water.
yes, indeed. Yes, he does find actually a script at the end of the tunnel. It is Dwarvish runes. Does he read Dwarvish?
As a matter of fact, he does read Dwarven. He couldn't have falsified a map otherwise, man.
It's true. In that case, it says the following. Horath Rocknose, 2015 KR, Saraketh Mining Consortium. Praise the gods of stone that they have laid down for us such bounty in the depths of the world.
KR?
Yeah, Rilinid would know that KR is the Dwarvish measurement for time. Basically, it's like Dwarvish reckoning.
Can I translate how long ago that was to our present time?
Yeah, hang on. He would say that is roughly 200 to 300 years ago.
Okay. Well, Lid will rub his nose as he translates the message and say, perhaps 200 to 300 years ago is when the dwarves were last here. To see this such script, I am not quite seeing such a bounty with my immediate glint of eye. Perhaps they were distracted or found another strike somewhere else.
Then why would they put a message here?
Perhaps it was a sort of celebratory thing, graffiti or such, before they left to whatever glorious mine they found next. I do not understand the culture of dwarves.
Oh, there we go. Does it seem that this entire cave has been dug out?
Yeah.
Why would they dig out such a structure? It seems pointless if there's nothing of value here.
This might have been
some sort of function.
This might have been a dwelling area for the dwarves while they were prospecting around in this region, looking for veins of mithril or adamantine.
You can make a knowledge dungeoneering or a profession minor roll, if anyone has that.
I can certainly do a knowledge dungeoneering using my lore master here, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Rilinid does recognize that the rock, the type of rock that seems to be in this area, when he sort of looks around and checks the walls and the floor and stuff, it is the type of rock that sometimes bears mithril, although he doesn't see any sign of it here.
Really, we'll look about up and down the ceiling. This rock type would suggest that this could have been a site where they found mithril. Perhaps they dug all out, which was immediately noticeable. There might be more behind the rocks here, but that would take considerable time to dig out.
Very well. Nod. So yeah, I suppose that is something for the far future then.
Indeed, but it is something to keep in mind of certain. There might be other remnants of dwarven construction and mining down here.
If we could find a mine that is not yet emptied, that would be glorious. He shrugs, a little disappointed that there was nothing else here. Tries to look back the other way.
Well, you need to basically to camp here.
Yeah. We're in a lovely dome. We're completely safe, Jonas.
Indeed, indeed. You would think.
We're
The
gonna
dome
make a-
slides aside.
We're gonna
and
make a
behind-
sunroom out of this.
Sunroof. Yeah, you rest here. Once again, you hear distant tremors and things from the boiling mud area, but nothing really big hits while you are resting here. And the next day you can set out again.
All right. We'll head back to the crossroads, certainly. Did you want to try to hook up and see where that minor passage led to? Or did you want to keep going down the wider passage?
Let's go look at the minor one.
All right.
I have a feeling the other one is just going to connect with the...
Yeah.
Might be more efficient to take this one now.
So you want to backtrack?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
I agree.
Yes.
Then we backtrack.
Whee!
Yeah, a day later, you stand once again before the narrow passage and begin squeezing your way through.
It's okay. We're elves. We're very thin.
You are, yes, nimble.
Oh, lore master. You're so awesome. Maybe it's for the best that Sheep didn't decide to be a wizard. Because then I wouldn't have a lore master.
I'm sure it was.
And who would be obnoxious then with knowledge rolls?
That's right. I would have to just deal damage to people.
That's so boring.
I'm perfectly okay with Rilinid having the ability to know things. But gotta be
Being
honest.
extremely smug about it. Like, yes, I'm quite sure.
He has a purpose, right? if he was a fool as well, then what really? Why would we have him around? Right?
That would really be the true weight hanging around the party's neck. It's like, we can't kill him.
It's such a... Well, you press your way down this tunnel. Again, very, very narrow. It is very difficult to travel through here. You don't really find anything the day you spend sort of traveling down here. And as you rest in the narrow tunnels, you can press on down south or turn back.
Let's go ahead and press on.
Okay.
We've already committed. We're adventurers, man.
It's true.
Explorers,
No, we're not
Why?
No,
explorers.
we're overlords.
overlord,
Exactly. We don't-
overlording over these tunnels.
I guess you could pull a fast one on Jonas. Yes, we're the Explorer campaign. We said
What?
we embrace the humans and welcome them into...
I mean, we could certainly do that if everyone in the group has a change of heart. That'll be kind of odd, but sure.
would be kind of
returns
odd.
to office. It's like, we've had a change of heart.
There are new laws here. All drow must out of the council.
So what?
Oh, yes, come.
We love dwarfs. I'm becoming a dwarf myself.
Kill them.
Polymorph.
Permanent polymorph, yes.
There's
Yep.
so much worth than Lady Satha.
I've decided that I like the dwarf abilities more than the drow abilities. So
Iron Beard.
Oh, my iron beard. Yeah, you get out again into the main tunnels during the following day, and you notice that there seems to be an eastern tunnel heading back to the great jumping off point, and a western tunnel.
Let's go west.
Yeah,
Alright.
we can check the other tunnel that's not heading towards the great jumping off point, just to confirm that it might dead end.
Yep. You certainly can.
As Jonas works fervently to cut out hex by hex.
Yep. And yeah, you do find that it curves around and hooks back up with the path that you were on before, basically.
All right.
These do not seem to have been sort of cut out or anything.
No, these seem to be natural formations.
All right. Well, I suppose we
So-
go down to 0521, right?
Yeah, east and south.
Yeah, I would be okay with that, sure.
Okay.
I mean, we've got, like, at least, like, 500 years before we're threatening, maximum age for death, so...
Make haste. Only 500 years.
the
How many
true
turns
reason,
is that? 2,000 turns?
The true reason Drow never get anything done. Oh, we'll do it tomorrow.
Next year. Next
No
year.
hurry, really. I mean,